All right, thank you one more time. The program still here this morning on ITV. The hashtag End Bad Governance protest in the country, whereby a few days ago we saw, protesters in some states in the north protesting with the Russian flag. That is what people saw, and that is what people also made reactions to. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be reading out the response made by the Russian authority, the Russian embassy in Nigeria, concerning that. I'm going to be reading it out to you. It is not the Nigerian army flag, the way Omobde will put it. That is a way of calling the Nigerian military to come take over government. No, that's treasonable. As a matter of fact, even protesting with the Russian flag is also treasonable too. That's what the Nigerian authority has been telling, members of the public, those protesters that did that in the north, that if you do that, it's treasonable. And also, we understand that the Nigerian authority has been going about fishing out and arresting those that carried that out, because you don't do that. We have a sitting government in the country as led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we cannot be inviting, trying to make some very unnecessary, connotations and all that. We cannot do that because it is highly treasonable. So we totally delineate ourselves from all these opinions that it is a way of telling the Nigerian military to come over and take over because of the bad governance, or it is a way of telling the Russian authority to come over and take over because of the bad governance. No. If we have issues with our governments in the country, of course, I started by telling you that this government we're talking about, it is not just the federal government. Government cuts across three stratas. You have the federal government, the state government, and of course, the local government. So if we are not satisfied with the way things are in the country, with government policies and all that, we have the right to protest. But then again, we must do it in a civil manner, in such a way that at the end of the day, we don't spoil the whole thing. We cannot throw away the baby and the bath water, no matter how dirty the baby is. We must be able to bathe the baby and, of course, throw away the bad water so that we can have the baby with us. So if you put that into an analogy, the baby this time is the Nigerian nation. Even if it is dirty, yeah, we agree that it is dirty. Let us put hands together to bathe that baby together. And of course, we throw away that dirty water. What is the dirty water now? The dirty water of corruption, the dirty water of bad governance, the dirty water of bad attitude that cuts across most times all strata of lives, spheres of life in the Nigerian polity. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you are going somewhere, a fellow Nigerian assumes some bad attitude to you. You go to the office, you are supposed to be attended to. Bad attitude. And I mean, all these things are things that we must put hands together so that we can, purge it out from our system, from the Nigerian system, so that we can have a good country. So the protest that we saw, whereby the Russian flag was used as a tool of protesting, the Russian authority, let me read out the response of the Russian authority now. What they said is that in response, the Russian embassy in Nigeria said the government of Russian Federation, as well as any Russian officials, are not involved in these activities and do not coordinate them in any way. As always, we emphasize that Russia does not interfere in the domestic affairs of foreign states, including Nigeria. That's the response that the Russian embassy, gave. Let me read it out again. In response, the Russian embassy in Nigeria said the government of Russia Federation, as well as any Russian officials, are not involved in these activities. That is the protest now, and do not coordinate them in any way. As always, we emphasize that Russia does not interfere in the domestic affairs of foreign states, including Nigeria. That is foreign nations whereby they don't interfere. I mean, their relationship with these foreign nations are purely diplomatic issues. So that's where it ends. So they don't meddle, they don't interfere with domestic issues. Like I said a while ago, that if we have economic issues, bad governance issues and all that, we should put heads together and solve it. So in an idea of trying to make some kind of insinuations that does not augur well, it's not going to help in any way. Now, the Nigerian authority has also given their own response to that. The military authority in Nigeria has also given their response to that. And of course, they have warned, they have warned that those people that wave the Russian flag, they probably don't know the implication of that. And of course, they have warned that it is a treasonable action. Treasonable action is that it is an offense against the state. And of course, when you commit such offense against the state, you are liable for it. And the authority will come at you. And of course, you'll be arrested and you'll be dealt with accordingly. So please, if we protest, if you must protest with an object, there is a Nigerian flag. The green, white, green is our Nigerian flag. So you can protest with that. And of course, the federal government will listen to you better. Now, I've got Charity, my co-anchor in Abuja. Charity, nice to be with you. Very good morning.
Good morning, Evans. Good to see you. I followed your discussion with our guest. And then I checked and I discovered that actually those flags that you were talking about, the Armed Forces flag has different colors, while the Russian flag has their own colors. Honestly, the protest, which should have been a peaceful one, unfortunately took a different dimension by that extreme action taken by some persons. And if you look at the videos that we just saw, you could see that majority of those people carrying those flags are just young people who maybe they are actually ignorant of what they are doing. That means somebody from behind is actually doing this and sponsoring this. Somebody must have taken his time to purchase these flags, had them sewn, and giving them to this youth. And what does this tell us? We live in a country where adults, where people, high-placed people, according to the security agencies, as of yesterday, they said they have identified high-placed people, politicians, who are actually behind this. Actually, they said there are 4 of them, even though they have not mentioned names, they say due to security reasons that are actually behind this. What will it benefit you as a politician? This is a country that you have benefited from. This is a country where you have contested elections. This is a country where you've been part and parcel of all elections. And then all of a sudden you decided that you should be the one that should be pushing the younger ones to cause disintegration in the country. This is sad. And for me, while I was reading through all that the security agencies were saying, the only thought that was coming to my mind is that we just want justice at the end of the day. We do not want a situation whereby at the end of the day, those who are behind this would get away with this. These younger ones, for me, I could say, while arresting them, they should also take time to talk to them, to kind of reorient them and re-educate them, because most of them clearly, they have no idea of what they have gotten themselves into.
Yeah, they don't have an idea of what they've gotten themselves into. And I think this is where we also want to charge the civil society organizations in the country, because apart from the fact of trying to maybe propel this protest at times, I think they also have the responsibility of educating Nigerians of what they need to do. I mean, if you are angry, there are certain ways, lay down ways and legal ways of ventilating your anger. I mean, there's no security man that will shoot at you when you hold the Nigerian flag. No way. Nobody will do that. If any security man does that, the law will get to that security man. But in a way that you hold another country's flag, then you protest with it, then the security man will come at you. And of course, nothing will happen to that security man. So please, we use this opportunity to call on civil society organizations, because we understand that they have the responsibility of orientating the general public to let people know that, look, these are the laid down procedures, the ways, the do's and don'ts of these activities, of these actions. And of course, if you do the contrary, you hold yourself, I mean, the law will come at you. I mean, Russia will not protest with the Nigerian flag in their country. They will never do that. They will never do that. US will never protest with the Nigerian flag in their country. They will never do that. The United Kingdom will never do that. I mean, so why? Why will you do that? Why will you want to protest with the Russian flag? And we're also having different dimensions now that is actually the military flag and all that. No, and the military has not even said so. What the military is saying is that, look, you don't do this. You don't protest with another nation's flag. It is a treasonable action, and the law will get at you. So please, we are using this opportunity now as a station, as a media organization, to let Nigerians know that, look, it is wrong. It is wrong in its entirety, absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. So please, if you feel you don't like what is going on, the way government is being carried on in the country, you have the right. Nobody's protecting you from protesting. You have the right to protest with your own nation's flag. The green, white, green is Nigeria's nation's flag. You can't protest with that. And the president has even said that, you come forward, let's dialogue. I mean, by now, we should be expecting organizers of the protest now, if we have any now, to start meeting Mr. President. Look, let us forge the way forward. Let us, help in all this. Make suggestions to the Nigerian authority, and definitely we can find a way out of this. So if we go about doing, trying to make one step forward and 3 steps backward, we're not going to help ourselves in any way. I agree that there are issues, there are problems. I mean, I feel it too as a Nigerian. I know what it is. I know what it is to survive in the country today. So these are issues that we are all concerned about. So we must put heads together to ensure that we fight them all, so that we can have a better nation, a better Nigeria, a country that people, we want to come to Nigeria to enjoy, all that we put together in the country. Charity.
And it also goes to show how educationally backward a certain part of this country is. Yes, I say this because if it were a place, a region where people are well educated, if you look at these kids, they are mostly, they don't really know what they are doing. They don't know the difference between this flag and this flag. Then are we to it is because for me, looking, I feel that this should not be happening. And the worst part of it is that you will discover that the people who gave them these flags, you would not find their children there. You will not find any of their relatives there. Neither will you find them in this place. Probably as we now, they have all their families, they have all their children, they are all abroad. They may not even be in this country. And then you turn around to use other people's kids, whom by way of your own selfishness, by your greed, refuse to equip them, for them to know their rights, for them to know what is wrong, know how to approach national issues, because you want to use them as tools to disintegration. This is the country we find ourselves. And these same people will still come out tomorrow, I guarantee you, by 2027. If nothing is done, this same caliber of people will come out, they will contest for elections, and they will win, and they will become public office holders. I think it is high time that this country begin to do the right thing. No matter who you are, regardless of the status that you are, if you do something that is really bad, that is contrary to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you should be brought to book. Even though the security agencies told us that for security reasons they do not want to mention names, but Nigerians will be interested to know who are these 4 politicians that are actually behind the purchase of these Russian flags that have been that have been given to our kids in Kano and some in Kaduna, with which they use to carry out this protest. Nigerians will be very interested to know this person.
Yeah, and one is also tempted to want to look at the border issues in the country. I mean, the parts of the country where this was done, the northern part is next door neighbor to Niger. When the military took over the Nigerian government, we saw similar situation whereby the Russian flag was used to demonstrations outside, in jubilation and all that. So little wonder if it is not that infiltration now because of the porous, the way people say that Nigerian borders are porous in some parts of the north. Little wonder whether it is not the influx of these same persons now coming into the country. I think it's also a wake-up call for the Nigerian authority to ensure that our borders are well safeguarded. I mean, we cannot continue to have people infiltrating into our country, wreak havoc, and think that things will go on that we know. We will not allow it. We will not condole it in any way at all.
You know, yes, I will agree with you that there could be some infiltration due to the porous nature of some of the borders in the northern region of the country. But if you listen to them, if you listen to what they say in Hausa language, for somebody who understands Hausa very well, you will know that the Hausa they speak is very fluent and clear. And for me, it's from Niger or from any other part or any other African country speaks Hausa, I will be able to know that, okay, this person is not really a Hausa person from Nigeria. Then if a Nigerian speaks Hausa, I will know, especially if the person is from the north. So the Hausa that comes out from the kids, from their mouth, you could hear that it is very clear and it is fluent. So we could have, yes, we could have pockets of them coming in from other African countries, but majority of them that you see on the streets, they are sons, they are sons of the soil. They are kids from this country. They speak, and what they say, what the gentleman said on air earlier about what they say in Hausa was actually true. That was what part of what they were chanting, and somebody must have told them to say so, because those kids, looking at them, they do not have the thinking capacity to come up with things like this. Somebody must have told them, when you go to the street, this is what you should say, and this is what you should be doing.
Okay. All right. So we condemn the action in all its entirety. It is wrong. Please do not protest with a foreign flag, another country's flag. It is a treasonable. It is an offense against the Nigerian state, and the authority will come at you. I mean, it's a treasonable action. So please don't do that. Don't do that. It is wrong. Charity, one thing that we must talk against in all of what is going on concerning the protest is the idea of, you know, people trying to sponsor the protest from the diaspora. Now, it's a good one to know that the authority, Nigerian authority, has identified persons, you know, in order for this, and the Nigerian government has promised to crack them down. You know, for most analysts, they more or less, they are more of the enemies of the Nigerian state, rather than even the governments that they try to accuse. What would you want to say about that?
Well, I agree with you totally, because when you decide to leave Nigeria and saying that the country, nothing is working, because whether we like it or not, we have witnessed an exodus of Nigerians from this country to different parts of the world because of the situation in the country. They said they can no longer take whatever that is happening, so they need to go over there for greener pastures. Fine, it is your decision to decide to leave the country, to travel to another country where you feel that it is giving you what you want. But then it is wrong for you to be over there and then be sending money to the same country that you were born in. You decided to leave this country to go to another country, then you want to destroy your own country. Whether we like it or not, they say home is always home. We have seen and we have read stories of people that have been abroad for so many years and they are back to Nigeria in their old age. Yes, there's a story of somebody who came back at the age of 79. Some people from 50, they are back, because at the end of the day, they discover that being abroad is not the same as being at home. Let's just say that they are there to hustle and make money and come back. Okay, if you are there to make money, why then use the money that you are supposed to send home for development, use it for disintegration, use it for destruction of your country? Now, my problem here is that it is okay to tell us that these people have been identified. I have always had issues with identifying persons and not making them public. Yes, I as a person, I'm a Nigerian, I would like to know who are these people. I would like to know, where did they come from? What are they doing? We've had issues in the past where governor would tell us that we have identified people in the diaspora that are behind this and behind that, and at the end of the day we don't get to hear their names. Yes, even though in 2020 during the NSAS protest there were some few names that were mentioned and some accounts were frozen. That is the case even this time with this hashtag End Bad Governors protest. Those who are funding it in the diaspora, we've been told that some of them have had their accounts frozen, and we hope that government will do the needful. And we're also being told that they are on the watch list. The moment they set foot in the country, they will be arrested. I would like to trust that at this time, government will do the right thing by the people.
Yeah, the situation can be likened to a kind of a local, adage in the local parlance in Benin. That's when you say that the deity in your place is not strong enough, or the gods in your homeland is not strong enough, they are not potent enough. Then when trouble comes, you won't find any gods to fight, the problem. So that's the way it is. So no matter the situation, you leave this country, opportunity comes, you leave this country and you are far away, instead of trying to sponsor troubles back home. One day you may want to come home. You will come home one day. You will come home. And even if you decide not to come, there's no place like home. Home is always home. So in the idea of trying to sponsor troubles here and there, it's not good. That's what we're saying here. Now, if you are not satisfied with the government at home, there are more civil and more acceptable ways of doing this, rather than trying to sponsor protests and also trying to use another nation to topple the government of Nigeria. Is not acceptable at all.